Preparing. Okay. All righty. Hey, it is Wednesday over here for February 1st. Oh my God, can you believe that? I can't believe it's February 1st. It's sunny, it's pretty, it's cold. Cold is all get out, but it's a great day because we're here today talking. And anytime I can be with Lori, it's a great day.
Thank
You
you.
know, one time somebody asked me just recently, oh, how often do you get together with Lori? And I go, well, actually, twice a week I see her live. But in person, it's not always together. But then we're more often, and more. I would love it to be more often, but because of the distance we live in our busy, crazy life and everything. But anyways, today is Wednesday. We're gonna have some fun. Lori, how you doing today?
I am doing great. This is a subject we're going to talk about, probably the last subject that Debbie and I would ever talk about. And that is it's okay to be lazy. Okay. Like the two people that always have to be doing stuff every
Right.
single minute. Debbie's like the queen of it. I'm a little bit back up since I've had my disabilities, but we were taught as kids to just keep going all the time. I was raised by not an alcoholic, a workaholic father. Yeah, I want to change it. Workaholic father. And we were taught that we had to keep working all the time. And if we were idle, we were lazy. So we grew up with that whole thing. And I think
Right.
our generation was raised that way because we were raised a lot by
Yeah.
blue collar workers
Right.
and stuff, and stuff. But there's a guy, he's a doctor, his name is Devin Price. He's actually out of Loyola in Chicago area, which is close to Debbie and I. And he wrote a book called Laziness Doesn't Exist. Debbie and I have not read the book, but we've read articles about this gentleman. I actually watched a YouTube this morning about some of his concepts. And, it's just amazing because when we think of laziness, we think of somebody like a teenager, for example, that just lays on the couch and doesn't want to do anything.
Right.
And we're finding out that your brain needs to reboot. So that's why it's okay to be lazy. And that doesn't mean just laying around necessarily reading a book or anything like that, even though that is something that will calm you down, but it's taking your mind and not doing anything. Like they're saying that a good time for your creativity to come out is when you're being lazy and you're not doing anything else. We have been growing up now in the age of our cell phones, that
Yeah.
we are always looking at our cell phones. So our mind is not turned off. Yeah, we might be looking up stuff that we're going to learn about, but we're not letting our minds use the creativity. Deb, what do you got to say about that?
Well, I'm going to reflect back to, we go way back from being, friends and knowing each other and all that stuff. And it's so true. I mean, your father was a very hard worker, your mother, your father, your whole flower shop and everything. When I was in high school, I went to high school, I went to beauty school after left high school to go to beauty school and left beauty school to go to work. And then came home, did my homework, and then got up and did it all over again. And then Lori and I never missed an event, a party, a gathering, a get together. We were very social. We went on very little hours of sleep. And we were teenagers and, young adults. And, lots of times they can handle that kind of schedule. But we were taught that way. I see people today doing those kind of schedules, but I see people not. And I do see people that are smart enough to say, I need to actually reboot and recover kind of. And that's kind of like our message here. You can be lazy, reboot, recover. And it's really difficult for us. It's difficult for us because we start to feel guilty. Is that crazy or what? It's so crazy. You think that, oh my God, I have to grab that load of laundry. Oh my gosh, I have to clean up the kitchen. Oh my gosh, it's still going to be there. Okay. So if you need to do that, I almost reflect on saying that when the kids needed a timeout, it's almost like we need a timeout.
Right.
What
That's
do you
perfect
think?
to say that. Yeah.
What do you think, Laura?
Oh, I think so. That is a great way to say it, a timeout.
Yeah.
I know I struggle with the word laziness All right. I especially lately because I'm getting ready for my second knee replacement surgery and I can't do a lot of stuff. And I'll sit and tell Gary, my boyfriend, that, oh my God, I just feel so lazy because I can't do anything. My body doesn't want to function to do anything. And then I go through this little depression of sitting
Hmm.
there going, thinking bad of myself because I can't do stuff that I used to be able to do. And then I look back and I think again, like you said, we worked hard, we played hard, we did everything hard. And I remember even teaching my kids that. You know, I remember my kids, if they weren't doing anything, I put the microwave on for 15 minutes and said, okay, stop, drop, and clean wherever you're at. I mean, it was like I had to have my kids going all the time. And they grew up doing the same thing. I mean, and then when you see kids just laying around not doing anything, you say, oh, well, they're just being lazy. Well, we have to reboot our bodies like we talked about. We deserve it. We really deserve it. Do you know? I don't know if any, this is my biblical stuff coming out. Okay. I'm really into my Christianity. And even Jesus took breaks and he went up in the wilderness for 40 days a couple times. There's even a time in the Bible when he told his disciples, okay, you go out two by two, and I want you to go out and give the word of God, and I want you to cure people. I'm going back home to Nazareth to see my mother and my family. So that's like a little vacation. And he told his disciples to go out and work while he went home. So even Jesus did it. Okay. And I think of that and I think, what did he accomplish when he went out in the wilderness for 40 days? Well, this is not a Bible study, but I just want to tell you, he went out to in his mind figure out what he had to do, just like
Hmm.
we need to do when we take a break. And
Hmm.
they say we're more creative when we shut our mind off to everything around us and just think of our inner selves. And they say when you sleep, before you sleep and you have that quiet time, that's when a lot of people think and get very creative of their life of what they want to do. Are you that way, Deb? Do
No,
you?
yeah, I think that I get creative when I have some downtime. It might be even just, it might sound crazy, but like when I'm riding my bike or whatever, or just even, and that's not really downtime, but I think I need to have a little bit of like peace around me, and
Yeah.
sometimes I'll lay in bed at night and I didn't fall asleep right yet, but I am resting and that's when I do have my
Uh-huh.
creativity. So I think I'm going to strive more for taking those times out and trying to do what we're talking about, trying to get that lazy moment, even if it's, for a short period of time. Because not only do we talk about like how recovery reboot, but even for your body, just to rejuvenate, I think it just is really, and also to relax your mind a little bit. I think we're all, okay, especially women, men are the same way too in a lot of ways, but we think of like what we're doing next. We're not even finished with the task we're doing, or we're thinking two tasks ahead, so I think that can stress people out. Some people can handle that schedule all day long. I think Lori and I are the kind of people that can, but we should also be mindful. And I hope this resonates with some other people too, because I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are like that. It's a guilt. It's
Yeah,
a guilt.
it's a guilt. And the thing is, too, is I was reading some stuff about how sometimes when we're doing so much and too much, it's because we don't want to deal with something that's really bothering us. So
Mm-hmm.
we use it as a way of an scapegoat for us and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Have you, like you'll see this with kids, especially that they're doing so much that they forget to eat. They
Yes.
eat too much, they forget to go to the bathroom. I
Right.
mean, a lot of different stuff because we have things that are for us that we keep, like for example, our phones, our computers, and all that stuff. Our minds don't even rest from that. I'm constantly on the computer looking stuff up.
Yeah.
And when have you heard kids say, I'm bored, I'm bored, I'm bored, because they have never learned how to take that time to just do nothing.
Hmm. Right.
Now, and that's a lot from the electronics and stuff that's going on. So maybe if we start be an example for our family and do a little bit of downtime, they will see that it's okay.
Right.
I don't know. How would you teach your kids something like that?
Well, I think one thing that I would start to say, implementing like making people kind of put their phones aside, that's going to help them to
Yeah.
not want to be on there. Because I think a lot of families do that.
Mhm.
But trying to gather and maybe watch a movie together, or just gather, play a game, or just start to think like it's okay to shut down a little bit. Maybe people design a calendar. I don't. There's a lot of little things you can implement. And say, all right, let's have some chillax time. And just kind of
Yeah.
all get
Yeah.
together and just. I think you have to make a step in the right direction,
Right.
and
Right. You know what? Do you know? I don't know this, but do you know if they have, remember in kindergarten, we had to take nap for about a
mhm,
half hour or so. We all
mhm.
hated it. I don't even think they do that in school anymore.
Preschool. I think
Preschool.
preschool does it. I don't remember if Mariano did it in kindergarten, but I know preschool did it because he had a little mat that they brought, and they had chillax time. But I think it's something that we've gotten away from. I mean, it's okay
Yeah.
even to take even a little, like, close your eyes and take a nap. It's okay to do that. You don't want to fall into a deep sleep though, because then you get really like where you don't want to do anything or whatever. But I think if it's 15 minutes or less, I think that's kind of the rule of thumb that kind of should rejuvenate you. And I think that's a
Yeah.
great
And I think a lot of it too, when I look back and people I knew and stuff that, they were such hard workers and they worked like my father. My
yeah.
father used to work seven
Right.
days a week. Okay.
Yeah.
And he didn't go through this, but I know of people, men and women that have retired, and they feel useless. Men
Hmm.
especially, I don't know why, but they feel like
Yeah.
they're being
Right.
lazy now and all that stuff. And because they never learned how to have downtime.
Right.
Again, we have been brought up in a society that we have to do things constantly. And look
Hmm.
at, like, I want to say Italy, all right? Because
Oh
I
yeah.
family there. All right, they go to work, they get up early, they go to work, they come home, they have their largest meal of the day at like noon, 1 o'clock, and then they rest for 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours. And then a lot of them go back to work and work till
Mhm.
7 or 8 o'clock at night. Or if they don't, they work till 3 o'clock every day. They don't work any later than that, but they have their rest time. Then
Mhm.
things don't open up again until the evening.
Mhm.
So, and how those people live such a simpler life than we do.
Mhm.
And I'm sure the electronics now over there has caused people to be like we are. Everybody's
Mhm.
got to be the best. Everybody's got to do this, because you see all this stuff on your phones and on the internet about this person accomplished this and this person accomplished this. And you think that in order for you to be good or be somebody, that
Mhm.
you have to do the same thing as what they did and better. Does
Right.
that make sense?
It totally makes sense. And I think that I've heard too, like in a lot of the European countries, like France included, I've heard, they take things at a slower pace. Here's the problem we have here, and we know this, we're fully aware of it, we're already wrapped into it, and we're doing it, is that everything's a fast pace. How can you get this faster? How can you go there faster? How can like what can you get done, and how much more can I cram into my day? I wish I had 27 hours instead of 24 hours, sleep less, get up early, push the pedal to the metal. That is, I mean, that is me. I will do that a lot.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
do. I do. But you know what? I do have to say though, I did make myself, I will say the pandemic. Okay. There's
yeah, right,
one thing came out of the pandemic. Okay. And I know
right.
that there's a few other things that were okay too. Okay. And of course we didn't want this pandemic, and we do not, like, obviously we're not saying it was good overall. We're just saying something that came out of it, because you always have to look at the silver lining sometimes. It did force a lot of people to get slower in what they were doing, because we didn't have the ability. Okay. So it did teach you that there was a possibility that you could do that. So I know here for us, us girls, we would throw our hair back in a ponytail. We wouldn't put much makeup on. We would just be chill, and we would accomplish little projects, but we didn't go at that fast pace because we didn't have the work involved, because we weren't able to, or we had to do things on Zoom or whatever it was. So I think we have to remember that that's okay. That's okay to do some of that stuff. We just want to find, what? You got to find your happy medium. You got to find
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
happy place that makes sense. There's a balance in everything. And if you feel like you take it too quickly, and Lori and I have said this to each other, we might have a crazy packed day one day, and then we take it down a notch a day, and maybe we're going to take a nap, or we're going to do something, or just chill. It's okay. It's good. It's really good. It's a good example,
Yeah, no, yeah, it's true. I was reading this morning that the pandemic, going back to pandemic, it taught a lot of people how to work from home, and it gave them
Right.
an opportunity to have some downtime because they
Yeah.
were driving, or they could take a little bit of a nap in the afternoon. And they said, believe it or not, that a lot of people were more productive when they were working at home because they
Mhm.
didn't have the stress of a boss looking over everything they were doing, in an office. And, and they said people had to learn how to budget their time at home. And
Mhm.
the things, like you said, Debbie, the things slowed down. So yes, it was a bad thing, but yet, if we look at the good things that came out of it, that was the
Right.
good things.
Right.
And then the kids also had to learn how to be bored. I hate that word.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
bored, I'm bored, I'm bored. And my granddaughter says that to me, lyrics sometimes, and I get like, oh, you don't even know what bored is. They have no clue what bored is. But
True.
yeah, it's like I said, it's okay, it's okay to develop tools of what to do to just get your mind at ease.
Perfect.
A lot of people do yoga. It's supposed to be
Mhm.
really good for that. I know you're doing something, but your mind is working with it. I've never taken
Mhm.
a yoga class, but that's what I have heard. Prayer, just being in a room. Debbie and I go to what is called the Adoration Chapel.
Mhm.
We go in there and pray, and and actually that room is a room of peace. It's peace because you're able to be in there with God, but you're able to detach from the world. And that's what happens with meditation, all that kind of stuff. It's actually really, really good for you. You know what, Debbie? I'm so excited about this. I'm sorry I'm going on and on and
It's
on.
okay. It's good.
A lot of things were discovered in this world by people that were lazy and
Mhm.
spend more time with themselves in quiet time.
Yeah.
The bicycle, I'll give you an example. I don't know who the person was, but a lot of those people that have invented things were people that have taken the time to just detach from the world and think. So,
A lot of people focus better that way.
yeah,
Think
right.
about it. I
Mhm.
know this is a whole nother subject, but when you
Yeah.
think about some of the learning focus issues that people have these days, a lot of it is created by some of the negative things that we've discussed throughout this whole session today.
Yeah.
I mean, and it can, and so I think, it's like taking care of yourself and eating correctly is important. I mean, we know that, right? But if we take care of our overall mental wellness, this is kind of a mental wellness thing, really.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
If we are in tune with that, okay, and I'm not saying, and I'm not trying to use the word breakdown, but in a way, if we find ourselves getting a little broken in that area, we need to be mindful, and we have to take, and like I've literally talked to people who have said to me, oh, well, I'm very busy and I can't do anything and I can't talk to you till next week, Tuesday. And it's like, okay, well, you know what? You got to change that. I don't say anything back to that person, but in my mind, I'm thinking, they better slow down. I mean, a little bit,
Yeah, yeah.
take time to smell the roses and, you know what I mean?
Right, right.
Yeah.
And you know what? I want to go back to the eating thing. Okay.
Okay, sure.
To give you an example, yesterday, I am a fast eater. I've been a fast eater my whole life, my whole family, my mom, my dad. My mom is tiny as she is. We're fast eaters. And it came
Mhm.
from us working in the flower business and eating and working at the same time. Okay.
Right. Right.
And it's a very common problem with florists. And
Hmm.
I'm sure in other things too. And sometimes we eat so fast that we don't even pay attention to what we eat. And then we realize, well, I was telling Gary yesterday because we went to Pepe's for a buffet yesterday. Yeah, oh, great buffet. If anybody's got a Pepe's by them, oh my God, it was amazing. And I ate so much, but I ate so fast. And the problem is, and this is a known fact, and I had to look it up because I had to make sure my facts are right. It takes 20 minutes for your brain to tell your body that it's
Right.
full.
Right.
So here I am. Here I'm supposed to be watching what I eat, right? In fact, Gary goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're eating this much. I've never seen you eat this much in a long time." I had this full plate and I just scoffed it all down. I mean, just ate it so fast. And I wasn't even full. And I went and got another plate of fruit and stuff and that, thinking I'm going to eat better, right? I ate it was not even 20 minutes. And I said to Gary, the problem is I ate too fast. When you eat too fast, my brain's not thinking I'm full. So what happens last night? My stomach was killing me because I ate so fast and I ate too much. Again, you're doing stuff and not thinking what you're doing, and you're not giving your body the chance to catch up with what you eat. It's the same thing.
It is the same thing.
Slow down,
Hmm.
you know. I
Hmm.
know that's a goofy example, but I'm just
Oh,
saying
it's relevant. It really is.
it's the same thing. You have to be lazy when you're eating. Okay. You have
Hmm.
to slow down. You have to slow
Well,
down your life.
you know what? There's a lot to be said about that eating fast because it's not good. And you're right. It does take 20 minutes. And sometimes
Yeah.
I'll notice even my grandson will want to eat really fast. And he's like, can I have some more? And I'm like, take it easy for a second. Let
Yeah.
your body catch up, because otherwise it's not that you don't want to give him the food. You just,
Right.
it's true. You've got to, what's the ramification? The ramification was you have a
Right.
stomachache.
Right.
I've been there. I've done that.
Yeah.
We all have. But if you have to eat a little fast, if you're in that position, like I know how Lori, you're exactly what you're talking about. If I'm busy and I don't have a lot of time,
Yeah.
you're better off to have little bits along the way.
Right.
Okay, so that's with eating. But when it comes to all these other activities and things that you're doing and stressing yourself out and doing too many things, a little bit along the way and take a little break or do this or divert or whatever. Don't try to cram it all and don't try to multitask is great. Okay. We all know Lori and I both know how to
Yeah.
multitask, but at the same time, are you really accomplishing everything perfectly? It's the same, like, are
Yes.
you like, is something not getting enough attention and you
Right.
might like make an error, which is easy to do, you know?
Yeah,
And,
that's
and
another
depending.
great example, Deb. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, it's great. But I think we covered a whole bunch of stuff from
Yeah.
this. I think we've even thought of a few things we can maybe even do on side notes on different like things. Is there anything else you want to like bring up, or should we get to a point? Maybe just anybody has any food for thought they want to like add. Remember, guys, on our comment section, go ahead and feel free to put comments, or if you've got a relevant article or a book you suggest that you know of, we're happy to have that all added on there.
Exactly.
If there's a source or if there's something you do, whether it's meditation, yoga, or it could be, yeah, I understand. I get it. I have that happen. The feedback is fun. We also really want to say that we've got some very interesting people we're going to interview, and we want you to just help us, get the word out. We want to grow. We're still working on growing and growing and growing, and we're growing all the time, but it's like we want to hit those platforms of like larger numbers. And
Right.
remember, you can always find us on YouTube as well. With that, Lori, I'm going to turn it over to you to close us out.
Okay. Well, you know what? We kind of did things a little bit different today. And Friday,
Mhm.
we're having our guests. Tune in Friday. Expect spectacular guests. I'm not just look for our promo. Okay. But with that, I just want to say we're friends helping friends today. And I'm Lori.
And I'm Debbie.
And we're friends helping friends again. Take care. Bye,
Take care,
everyone.
guys. Have a
Have
great
a good
day.
week. Bye.
Bye-bye.